Javon Evans becomes a real bracket buster. We advance in the Queen of the Ring tournament. The Bloodline tries to keep things in order, and Dominic Mysterio confronts Oba Femi. This is the WWE Raw recap on WWE Now at WWE and Fanatics original production. Oh, I can't wait to get into everything. I can't wait to get into it all. I felt good saying Dominic Mysterio confronted.
You put a little extra juice on that.
Stank is what it was. Some stank on it. But before we get there, we got a lot to talk about with this King of the Ring tournament, you know?
Tons.
I thought I had it in the bag.
Oh, I mean, I had the whole thing fantasy booked for 3 months from now. It's all ruined.
I was going to be the one guy with the perfect King of the Ring bracket. That was going to be me. It's never been done before. Finally, someone has a perfect King of the Ring bracket. And then here comes Javon Evans, but here comes the Vision as well. So I guess the story begins with the idea of Seth Rollins. And it's so interesting, right? Because last week we said, look at the control that Seth Rollins showed. Look at the psychology that Seth Rollins had.
Yep.
The idea that he understood the game the Vision was playing better than the Vision and was able on all ends, whether it was Austin Theory,
Paul Heyman,
whether it was Paul Heyman, whether it was Braun Breaker and his spear. He had everything. He saw it all coming.
Yeah, he had it all scouted.
He had Montez Ford watching his back. He was good to go. Except here's the thing that he missed. Just because he said that he was done with the Vision, it doesn't mean he's done with the Vision. There are two parties at play here. Both parties must agree.
You're done with me? Well, I'm not done with you.
And that really makes it difficult to be done with somebody when they're not done with you.
My jaw was on the floor when Austin Theory showed up. Because I said to you while we were watching the match, I need a good stomp to end this thing.
Right.
Because I had already...
And I started tying my shoe. And you said, no.
Get away from me.
Yeah, I said, okay, all right.
You can't do that in the workplace. Come on, we have to keep it professional.
I'm trying to put you in the right frame of mind.
But I said, I really need a good stomp to end this thing. I was all excited. Earlier in the night on Raw, we had Seth Rollins backstage talking about him and Roman Reigns. And whenever that happens, the people get excited.
Well, here, earlier in the night, Seth said flat out, because, I mean, I think we all saw it. You know, Corey Graves made the call last week after Seth Rollins beat Braun Breaker that Seth can put the Vision behind him. And Jackie Redmond even asked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or have you put the Vision behind you? And Seth said flat out, the Vision is the past, the King of the Ring is the present, and the future is Roman Reigns and the World Heavyweight Championship. And Roman Reigns is wearing a title that's not his, and Roman Reigns this and Roman Reigns that.
And that's the title Seth defined. He believes.
And he didn't lose it. He categorized that as where he's going and the Vision as his past. But it was totally incorrect.
I can't even believe after poor Tala Tonga got his face, his skull smashed through the announce table, and then immediately after that, stomp through the ground.
Wow, it was stomp into the table, super stomp, off the barricade, onto the floor, which is what you got to do with somebody like Tala Tonga.
And I said, that's my good stomp. Now, there we go.
Two
Seth.
of them, and you got a bonus.
I got them both.
Yeah.
Now Seth's going to win. Austin Theory shows up, jaw on the floor.
Yeah. Seth had it fully under control, ready to get the pin over Ricky Saints. And there's Austin Theory to pull the referee out of the ring. And you know, I mean, under any other circumstances, no disqualification rules, Seth would be like, ooh, I got to watch my back. But he's sitting there thinking, well, settled that. I settled that little matter. Went ahead and put a bow on it last week, so
That's
I'm not
in the
even
rear
going to
view.
think about it.
It's in the rear view. Why think about the rear view?
That's right.
We can't live life in the past.
No, you got to look forward. It's the only place to look. That's why sharks keep swimming.
And then Montez Ford shows up, and I think, okay, it's fine because that's going to even the numbers game. They have Austin Theory, but Seth has a plan, and the plan is Montez Ford, who, by the way, looked fantastic in that little suit jacket.
He did. Well, look, when you look like Montez Ford, you can pull off a lot.
That's true.
You know, there's not much that Montez Ford could wear, and it's like, ooh, I don't know what's happening with him. But yeah, especially because that was the game. But that was the game plan that the Vision had last week. If that had been their game plan this week, I'd say, like, what are you guys doing? It didn't work.
They learn.
It didn't work last week because the same thing happened. Theory came out, Montez came out, you know, and evened the odds, as you said. But then it's that black sweatsuit. That black sweatsuit.
Mm-hmm.
And Braun Breaker is in the ring. And now Austin Theory, who I think was there to break up the pin for sure, but I think was there to absolutely take that Montez Ford body out of the equation. It was a sacrifice.
Yes.
Because now it's like Seth has one ally. Well, you need more than one ally. You need to have multiple people watching your back because now Braun Breaker is there and then, boom! Spear right through Seth Rollins and he goes down at literally the worst possible time. And then you see Ricky Saints looking on like he's looking at he's like a dog looking at a food bowl. He can't believe it. It's right in front of him.
The bag of greenies was open and the dog is going nuts.
There's no one else there. I could just eat the whole bag. He couldn't believe it. And he's walking around. He's doing that almost like military crawl to get over to Seth because he's already taken that damage. But all he's got to do, Seth was speared by Braun Breaker. All he's got to do is shimmy over to Seth and get on top of him. But he didn't have that awareness. And somehow, some way, and this is the difference, right? This is where I think the happy to be there mentality fades away. And where you notice that somebody is acting in a way where they are ready to take control, where they are ready to take advantage of what's in front of them and constantly and always looking for those opportunities as they appear. Because Javon Evans somehow did all the math, like Zach Galifianakis looking at all that coding in his head. He did all the math real quick and realized what was going on. And it's like, look, if you're a little less experienced, you could check on Seth. You could make sure that the vision isn't going to do anything else. You could figure out where Tala
situation to be in. I mean, wrestling in front of that crowd in Paris.
Plus, there's like 7 people.
Yes.
All out there that you're all trying to take accounting of.
The stakes are massive too.
But that's where it's wrong. The only person that matters is the guy that's in the ring. And Javon Evans just goes, I'm going to use what I can do better than anybody else. And gets up in the sky. OG Cutter, 1, 2, 3. Javon Evans advances in the King of the Ring tournament.
It's crazy.
And by the way, when you look at this, okay, you've got Obafemi, Dominic Mysterio, and Javon Evans in the 3 of the final 4 in this year's King of the Ring tournament. This could be the youngest field that the WWE has had in the final 3 of the 4 in the King of the Ring tournament in a very long time. When you look at not only what's going on right now, but what's going to be going on in the future of the WWE, these are the names that you're looking at. And I don't know who ends up taking that 4th spot, but it's amazing to see that it's Obafemi, it's Dominic Mysterio, it's Javon Evans. And the thing to keep in mind is it's not just a matter of going to Night of Champions and putting a crown on your head and being on that elite list of people who were King of the Ring. It's the fact that you are not only that person for this year, but you're going to SummerSlam to wrestle for a world championship.
Stadium show.
I mean, that's a massive deal. And
look at your 2 champions right now, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns.
And I don't think any of those 3 so far have ever had a match for a world championship in the WWE. Of course, I'm not talking about the mega championship that Dominic has in AAA, but in terms of the WWE World Championship, off the top of my head, there's certainly none of them have held that title. No. So you're looking at a real possible sort of changing of the guard scenario where at the very least, you're getting people who are new elevated to places that they haven't necessarily been before because of this tournament.
I'm glad that you pointed out the youngest field and not most, inexperienced, because Dominic is a 20-year vet.
Well, Dominic did make that clear. Yeah, earlier in the evening. Yeah, absolutely. No, but because it isn't. It's a pro.
It is.
It's not about, not being experienced, because if you have inexperience to worry about, you can't go to WrestleMania and beat Brock Lesnar.
Of course.
You can't win a fatal 4-way like Javon Evans did tonight.
No. That situation would be far too overwhelming to capitalize on if you were inexperienced.
So we've got one more person to get added to this final 4. And all of a sudden, I'm back to square one, which I love when it happens in the King of the Ring. I love brackets so much because you get a clear picture of where you're going. And then all of a sudden, one little thing changes. And you're back to trying to figure out, okay, where is it that we're going? You know what I mean? Are we looking at Jey Uso and LA Knight, who we saw on Raw, or is Royce Keys stepping up, or we're seeing Finn Balor? It's his SmackDown debut as a SmackDown superstar, as a current active SmackDown superstar on Friday that he's in this thing. So I don't know. I mean, now all of a sudden you're looking at this and going, what if the finals of the King of the Ring is Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor?
It could be.
That's not far-fetched anymore.
No, not at all. I feel embarrassed to admit this, but hand up, I was already looking ahead to Jey Uso and Seth Rollins. That's where my brain was at entering Monday Night Raw tonight.
You thought that maybe that would be the semifinal.
Yes, especially as Raw progressed and we saw the backstage interaction between the Usos and Seth Rollins. And they were talking about Seth talking about the family and saying, not to bring up the family. And Seth made sure that he pointed out, I'm not talking about the family. I'm talking about Roman Reigns. What? You disagree with that?
Yeah, everybody says that, but they go, Roman Reigns uses his family. Oh, I'm talking about Roman. I wasn't talking about, well, what's the second thing you said? You're definitely talking about the family.
Yeah, I guess if you're talking about Roman, you are talking about the family.
If your criticism of Roman is that he uses his family and then you're calling his family his errand boys, you're not talking about just Roman. There's more people associated with that. You're talking about the family. People keep saying, I'm only talking about Roman. LA Knight was doing the same thing. You're not just talking about Roman. You are talking about the family. You can. Well, it's a free country.
Well, because LA then was pointing out the neighbors are going to get involved, the cousins are going to get involved, the brothers, the sisters.
That's a lot of people
nieces,
to be talking about.
nephews. So to me, that is.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
He did say that.
His name was my name too. That's what he said.
He did say that.
It's a lot of people to bring up. So, okay. So before we get there, I mean, you look at this field, and yeah, it could easily be Jey Uso. It could easily be LA Knight, but I don't even know how you get to exactly where you're going anymore.
But Jey Uso and LA Knight have a lot of issues between the two of them, which we saw play out tonight. And I wonder if that will impact a fatal four-way.
Of course. I mean, if I'm in that fatal four-way, I would think I'm going to hope that those two guys take each other out.
Of course.
Just like I would seed those, sow the seeds is what I would do. That's what I would do. Sow the seeds. And I would make it so that these two are just off somewhere trying to pummel each other. And then it's like, okay, now if I'm Royce Keys, all I really got to worry about is Finn Balor. If I'm Finn Balor, all I got to worry about is Royce Keys. And while granted, I wouldn't want to have to worry about either of those two dudes, it's better than having to worry about them and then another two dudes.
Yes.
So I think that for sure, Royce Keys and Finn Balor have the opportunity to be a SmackDown representative going into this King of the Ring tournament.
Yeah, because the issues between LA Knight and Jey Uso play to their advantage.
How about the look on the face of Seth Rollins at the end of the show, where it was almost like he realized, like, you got me, like you did it again. He was furious, and it's not just about. I think it didn't feel like it was just about the idea of like, you just cost me the King of the Ring. I think that Seth, and maybe he was thinking about this on Italian Vacation with Becky Lynch. I don't know.
That vacation was ruined
by
Jessica Carr
and
Sol Ruca.
Okay, well,
and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show.
Of course we will. But I do wonder if Seth spent the week looking forward, almost planning the year out. You know how sometimes you do that, where you go like, okay, I've passed a certain milestone, right? I've gotten to this place, so now let me start looking forward. It's so frustrating when you realize that whole time was wasted because that thing that you thought you passed, you didn't pass.
You didn't pass, and then problems keep coming up because of that.
Right. You're not ready to move on from it because that thing won't let you move on from it. And that thing for Seth Rollins is the vision. And I think that reality was coming right back to him, that he could think about Roman Reigns, or he could think about King of the Ring, or he could think about his championship that he never lost, or he could think, there's a lot of things that he could think about. But when he declared war on the Vision's not waving the white flag. And even though they're beaten, even though, I mean, it's crazy looking at the Vision, who should be able to fill a ring with its members. It's down to Austin Theory and Braun Breaker. It's not even a wise man. And you wonder who was calling, if Paul Heyman was calling the plays tonight.
Was he doing it from a hospital bed?
Right, doing it from, I don't know. I have no idea. Or was Braun Breaker going, okay, here's what we need to do? Or was Austin Theory going, okay, here's what we need to do?
Yeah. I mean, that would show such maturity in the group that is the Vision, right? Because Seth was that leader, and then they kind of had Paul Heyman in the role of calling the plays, if you will. Paul Heyman's taken out, so
yeah. But imagine the frustration of being like, okay, I've got this group dead to rights, and now with only 2 of them left, they still got one over on you.
They still got me
in the biggest way possible, in the main event of Raw, in a King of the Ring
with SummerSlam implications.
Yeah, the whole thing.
The path to getting his World Heavyweight Championship back.
I mean, what do we think of the idea of I feel like we're looking at a Montez Ford Seth Rollins tag team.
I feel like we are as well.
Which is a wild concoction.
Yes. I feel like that as well because Braun Breaker became a tag team champion when Logan Paul was taken out.
That's right. He speared himself into his own title.
And they certainly have issues. They, being Montez Ford and Seth Rollins, have issues with the Vision that are not behind them.
No.
That are not behind
And it was
them
never
at all.
behind Montez.
No.
Seth thought it was over. But
poor Montez once again learning that, not learning, he already knew, but once again being proven right that problems follow Seth Rollins.
Well, because he knew that Seth hadn't solved it. That's why he was still there to go after it. I mean, look, there are a lot worse tag team partners you can have than Montez Ford. The idea of that being a tandem is huge. It's exactly what Seth Rollins needs, but I'm curious to see where things go with Seth, because I think even as fans, we were comfortable with this idea of Seth moving on. Mm-hmm. And we were already having conversations about what's next for Seth Rollins. When is this match going to happen? When is that match going to happen?
We were having conversations about Seth and Roman at SummerSlam.
Of course. Were. Here's the thing. As far as Seth and the Vision goes, we might only be in the 3rd inning. If you could imagine.
It is crazy to think about Seth, though, having to make allies.
Yeah.
We saw he was reluctant at the beginning to have friends, and he needed Montez Ford. He needed him.
Yeah.
But when Montez Ford is your only ally, and the Vision has Braun Breaker and Austin Theory ready to line you up at any moment, and Braun Breaker spear you in half, what are you going to do?
Well, look, right now you have got them to a 2-on-2 position, but you got to be on the same page. You have to be on the same page, and you have to realize you're not done. And I think that's the lesson that Seth Rollins learned. I've got to tell you, he may not have a lot of allies in the locker room, but Seth Rollins has a lot of fans.
Yes, he does. I heard him tonight.
Yeah, for sure. All over the world. And when you're a fan, you want to represent your favorite superstar. You want to relive those unforgettable premium live events, and you want to look for fresh ways to show your WWE pride. That's where ProSphere comes in. ProSphere. Do you know about ProSphere? They have custom designs inspired by your favorite WWE superstars, event merchandise. Look, here's the thing that I love about ProSphere, okay? First of all, this Danhausen, that's not just decorative, okay? That's my shirt. That's my shirt. And if we weren't in Game 3 of the NBA Finals right now, that Danhausen shirt would be on my body right now, and I promise you. I'm looking you right in the eyes,
yeah,
Megan
you are.
Moran.
Yeah, you are.
That's going to be on my body, that Danhausen shirt. Okay? That's why it's there, ready for my body when my body is ready for it. But it's not just the modern-day WWE superstars. No, this is a blast from the past. This is the football jersey that I used to wear and get kicked out of class in middle school. It's my DX football jersey. Perfect right now, and it's in grown-up sizes now, okay? So I can wear it, and nobody can kick me out of any classroom for wearing this shirt. Thanks to ProSphere. Look what it says on the back. This is my favorite part, okay? Thanks to ProSphere. Thanks to ProSphere, I can wear whatever jersey I want, and guess what? My parents don't ask me about it because I don't live with them anymore. That's why ProSphere rules so hard.
You're so lit. I was getting a little uncomfortable when you kept saying my body. And then also,
that's where I put the shirts.
I don't know if you needed that.
That's
anyways,
where I put the
ProSphere. I'm wearing a fantastic shirt from ProSphere. 90s vibe.
I love it. It looks
very cool colors.
That's right. It looks like a disposable cup from the 90s.
Female fit, which is great. And it helps you stand out in the crowd. So make sure you check out ProSphere's lineup of authentic jersey-inspired styles. I got a Jacob Fatu jersey.
Is this the same number?
Different number.
Oh.
Different number. Jacob Fatu's not repping number 69 yet. But you know what? If he wanted to, he absolutely could. You got options available for adults and youth. The whole family can gear up and represent their favorite WWE stars.
Oh, I love it. The CM Punk shirt that says best dad in the world. I wonder why my kids haven't gotten that for me yet. Listen, head over to Fanatics and check out the full collection today. ProSphere on Fanatics, gear designed for fans who live the WWE universe.
That's us.
That's right. And I love that you picked up the Jacob Fatu jersey.
Had to.
Jacob Fatu, big part of Monday Night Raw. Seth was running his mouth. This Seth Rollins, he's feeling very confident early on Monday Night Raw, thinking that he had the world, well, exactly where he wanted the world. And he was. Whether he says, no, I'm just talking about Roman, I'm not talking about the family. He's talking about the family. Everybody thinks they can just talk about Roman, and it's like you're not talking about the family. And then the minute the Usos show up to back up their cousin, they go, oh, you're his errand boys. It's like, no, this is what having a family is. You back up your family. This is what having a family is. This is what you do for your family members, right? But the Usos show up, and I was looking for him, and there he was. Jacob Fatu.
Looking cooler than ever.
Looking the coolest ever. Who acknowledged his tribal chief last week on Raw, was there with the Usos. But Jay said, I've heard enough. Get him, Jacob. And Jacob got right in Seth Rollins' face, and then he walked away. And I went back. I said, I remembered last week. What did he say? Who was he acknowledging?
He acknowledged the OTC Roman Reigns. But Jay, I didn't acknowledge your punk ass.
No, he did not. Oh, even when you say it, it charges me up. He did not acknowledge Jey Uso's punk ass. And I say that quoting Jacob. Not my opinion. I'm just quoting what I heard. So, which is why I would get in trouble for this DX jersey. but
it's not my opinion to suck it. I'm just quoting what I heard.
I'm quoting what I heard on the thing. It's what they said. I don't even know what it is. I'm quoting it. What exactly is it? I don't know. They said it. So Jacob then reminds the Usos that, like, I'm not running your plays. I'll run. And he said OTC Roman Reigns, just like you said it, with energy, with enthusiasm. He put some stank on it, as they say. And I was like, okay, so he does, like, and maybe that's what going through a battle like Tribal Combat does. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Where, like, when Grande Americano had their mask versus mask match, it took that fight for Chad Gable to come out on the other side as respectful as he's been. And maybe there is that thing where Jacob knows that as much as I wanted it, and as much as I wanted to take it from Roman, he didn't let me take it. I tried my best, and he didn't allow it to happen. He earned that respect. But what he's not doing is taking plays that are called by Jimmy and Jey Uso. And I think that's, I'm going to be watching that very closely, because Roman is the one who always talks about running the play. Mm-hmm. I mean, Cody's over here talking about QB1, but Roman calls himself OTC1. There's all these analogies to football teams. But I think it's going to be imperative that as this group, as this family comes together and works for the same cause, it's not enough to just call the plays. You need to figure out what position everybody's in.
You can't have drama in that wide receiver room.
Right.
We've seen that happen.
Right.
We saw it with the Eagles, and look what happened to them.
Right.
Nothing good.
Nothing good. Not one thing. You got to know exactly where everybody is positioned and why they're positioned there. And I think that that's something that Roman Reigns, as the captain of this team, is going to have to figure out. Like, where does if you've got Jacob on the team, where is the line? Is it a straight line of all equals? Are there people that have a little more power?
Is there a hierarchy?
I mean, it wouldn't be crazy for him to say, of course there's a hierarchy. Jey has been the world heavyweight champion.
Yes. And
which out of you got, who else has had that?
None
or just
of them.
me and Jey? Okay, so Jey's second up. Okay, so who's been here from the very beginning? Okay, Jey, who's also been a world heavyweight champion, who also proved it on his own, who's also been in Tribal Combat. Okay, Jey's second up. I mean, but that has to be said.
Yes.
That has to be said, and I don't know if that's something Roman Reigns is going to say.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's something that Jacob would just I mean, if it came from Roman, Jacob, obviously, because he acknowledges his OTC,
Right.
he would have to accept it. But if the messaging comes from Jay, if you're Jacob,
You can't come from Jay.
no.
It hasn't been made clear yet. The OTC hasn't made the call.
Yeah, Jimmy and Jay telling Jacob what to do, that's not going to fly right now.
It's not, I don't honestly see it long term ever flying.
No.
But it's certainly not flying right now, especially because he made the good point of the fact that LA Knight's been talking about the family for weeks now, and they haven't done anything about it. So do something about it. And do you remember what word Jacob used to describe the situation they were in? I'll tell you if you don't. It's not a pop quiz.
Yeah, I didn't know it was quiz day, so you can.
Ass. That's what he said. It was ass.
I did write that in my notes.
Yeah,
in all caps, ass.
Ass.
It is right here, ass.
And I think that it was. I think that I think that it is. And that's how I feel when people are talking about my family. And if other members of my family aren't doing anything about it, it's ass. So
I know there's a lot made about the Samoan werewolf being neutered, but I can't exactly see Jacob Fatu walking around with a cone on his head. Come on.
Michael Cole's going to have to publish a retraction and an apology. There's no neutering going on. There's no domesticating going on. The idea that Jacob Fatu cannot acknowledge his tribal chief after tribal combat without somebody talking about neutered and domesticated is horrible. Horrible.
If you tried to put a cone on Jacob Fatu, he'd immediately chew that thing right off. He'd find a way out of that cone.
Oh, he'd be out of that cone in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
Is that what they say?
Yes, it is. He'd be out of there immediately. No, it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. And then he'd chew right through those stitches.
And I think it was nice to see because that's what I've heard all week. A lot of people saying, "Oh, Jacob Fatu neutered."
No.
He showed he's the exact opposite of neutered today.
Yeah.
Based on his interactions with the Usos.
Jay said, "Go do this."
No.
Jacob said, "How about no? You go do that." And Jay did. LA Knight comes out, cuts another promo about the bloodline. Mm-hmm. By the way.
Also, that mic throw from Berkeley, what the heck?
Yeah, no, that was a terrible throw.
Despicable.
I mean,
embarrassing.
Go back and look at one of the things that made Stone Cold Steve Austin so sensational is that he was able to catch every beer can that was thrown at him because the throws were so wonderful. They were incredible. For LA Knight to have to deal with that in Paris, France, not great.
Come on, Berkeley. Get it together,
Get it
bro.
together,
Let's
Berkeley.
go. Come on.
It was, but LA Knight, mega ovation. Mega ovation in Paris. Comes out and talks about the bloodline and talks about the fact that as confident as he is in the King of the Ring, he doesn't know if he's going to be able to win this fatal 4-way, not because Jay is so good, but because of all the interference. And then he says, even if he wins that fatal 4-way and goes on to the finals and wins the finals in the King of the Ring, he's going right for Roman Reigns. He's calling his shot already. I'm going to SummerSlam and I'm going to fight Roman Reigns for that title. But then he says, even if I get Roman Reigns, he won't be able to do it on his own. And that's when he started listing everybody that's going to come out, which,
John
by the way,
Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
tell me, this calendar year, how many times has Roman retained the world, or how many world heavyweight championship matches has Roman Reigns won this calendar year because of interference?
0.
Donut. That's a Samoan donut.
0.
None. 0. We need to get this out of our vernacular, haters.
He had help on the way to the World Heavyweight Championship match, but during the match, no help.
What do you mean on the way? You mean in like...
Well,
on
the Usos had shown up. They had Roman's back.
Okay, yeah, but that's because they were being coaxed.
I agree.
They were being coaxed.
Listen, in World Heavyweight Championship title defenses, Roman Reigns has had no help. He's
Tribal
done it
combat,
on his own.
no help.
And he's shown up to work. So what else can you say about Roman?
It's enough. It's enough. They're reaching at straws here. And Rollins did it tonight, and LA Knight did it tonight. It is interesting that there is kind of a bubbling. And we saw it a little bit, a few months back, but now it feels like 2 things have happened since Roman's won the World Heavyweight Championship. You're starting 2 bubbling scenarios.
Bubble, bubble, bubble.
That's right. You're starting to get that feeling of Roman potentially being corrupted again
Yes.
by the championship.
Yes. At times, he's acting in ways that old Roman would act, which it was pretty successful.
He was very successful.
can't
the most
necessarily knock
successful.
it.
I can't knock it at all.
No,
As a matter of fact,
it puts food on your table. So.
go check the tape. I spent about 1,316 days talking about how great it was.
I know.
I mean, it's on record.
And more. Because,
Yeah.
Because after it ended, you still
I said,
talked
remember
about
how great that
how
was.
great it was. Yeah.
Right.
For a long time.
Let's do a retrospective.
Let's run it back.
Basically, up until WrestleMania this year, I was doing that.
Yes.
And then now we started with this one. But the other bubbling scenario is we are getting this bubble up of people who do not like that Roman Reigns is gaining power again. And that's LA Knight, that's Seth Rollins, that's other people that I think are going to be included in that group. That as Roman Reigns continues to assert himself, you're going to find more and more people that are trying to stop it, not based on what's happening right now, but based on history. Seth Rollins has the exact same feelings that he had when he wore that Shield uniform and acted as Cody's Shield at WrestleMania 40. Leading up to WrestleMania 40, LA Knight was having problems with Roman Reigns in January of that year. And none of that stuff has gone away. That's why we say everything counts, because we're not pretending it didn't happen.
We haven't seen him in a long time, but I don't think Drew McIntyre has let go of things that happened with Roman Reigns.
I would imagine not, but he somehow would find a way to probably be mad at the people that are mad at Roman Reigns now by going, I've been saying this since the beginning, you know? But I'm interested to see you, but you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Is the enemy of my enemy my friend?
Typically not.
No, the enemy of your enemy is your friend.
Yes.
Not because they're the enemy of your enemy.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So is that going to be a position that Drew and other people are in? I don't know.
We'll have to find out. I did like when LA Knight said, I may be unchosen, but you all chose me. That line really hit.
Because he's right. He's right. People question the opportunities, but at the end of the day, that sound that gets made when LA Knight walks through the curtain and hits the ring is completely undeniable. Jey Uso came out. And he's still, Crash Out Jay is my favorite Jay. You know this. I've been very clear about this.
He's all vibes. He's all emotion.
Just emotion. And right now his emotions are going all over the map. Like just depending on he's allowed himself to operate from his id.
It's crazy how Jay was just so happy and eating all the time with little kids. And now he comes out and he's just firing up, ready to
But guess what?
hurt someone.
He's also ready to run it back.
Of course.
He's going to run it back. But now you're going, is he running it back to have fun with the crowd? Or is he running it back to get under LA Knight's skin? Or is he running it back to assert his authority in the moment? Or is it a combination of all three?
Rage, run it back?
Rageful run it back. Yeah. Is it a passive aggressive run it back?
It could
or
be.
Is it just I'm having fun with everybody, run it back?
Depends on the day for Jey Uso.
You know? And it's really
and you
interesting.
can typically tell by his body language.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's aware of everything. He's aware of all the criticisms. He's aware of what all the fans say. I saw you see it in his Instagram stories. He talks about it straight up. So it's like he's aware that there were fans that are watching the Royal Rumble going, why is he running it back in the Royal Rumble? Why is he running it back in the War Games? And so when he gets in there, I think part of it is I'm running it back to spite you.
It's for the haters.
Right. This is dedicated to all my fans, especially my biggest fans, who are my haters. I think that might be where Jey Uso is coming from. You know, and I love that place. That's a fun place. You know what I mean? I love that.
It is.
Because that is also undeniable. That is also when you've got the haters coming at you and you're like, how about I just keep doing my thing and we'll see how it works out. Then you also become undeniable. It's two different paths to walk, LA Knight and Jey Uso, to stay undeniable. And Jey Uso gets right in LA Knight's face and hits him with the warning shot. But as he's walking away, and I was like, is LA Knight going to let Jey Uso get the last word? And there was that thought.
And you know what he said? Nah.
That's right. Yes, he did. That's exactly what he said. Because I said, man, LA Knight, like, he voluntarily came out here and had this ring time. When he's coming across looking like the loser here. I go, that's a tough shake for LA Knight. But you're right. What did he say?
Nah.
That's right. Exactly what he said. I think that was the lyrics to the Clarissa Explains It All theme song.
And then said, let me talk to you.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But he did say that you got me all wrong. You know, I respect you. You're speaking up for your family, and that's what a man should do. That's what a good man should do. And one other thing, screw your family. And it's like, okay, well, now you're really talking about his family. Like, also, I'm not sure how sincere all that first stuff was. Okay? I'm not sure all the stuff, that's like when you insult somebody and go like if you're just go, hey, you look terrible.
But don't take it personal.
All due respect. All due respect. Listen, you've got a lot to work on. All due respect. And you're like, how much of the respect is due? How much respect exactly is that? That's what it felt like when LA Knight was like, I want you to know I totally respect you. I think you're a good man.
But you suck.
Screw your family. And you're like, wait. Which part did you mean? LA Knight's like, I don't know. And Jay is ready to go in there and charge the ring. Jimmy holds him back. He goes, no, this isn't the play. This isn't the play.
Voice of reason, Jimmy Uso.
I'm very curious to find out if Jacob Fatu thought it was ass or not. I'm hoping that next week on Raw, we will get an update from Jacob Fatu to find out.
I got a feeling he thinks it was ass.
Probably. Well, Jacob Fatu likes conflict resolution.
Sure.
He doesn't like it being left in the air. He likes a good conflict resolution.
I do love how these twins, right? It's you got Crash Out Jay and Jimmy as the voice of reason. Perfect yin and yang.
Yeah.
Sharing the womb.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Just Jimmy there to chill it out. And Jay there to make it absolute and utter chaos. I love it. I love it. Look, you know what else I love? The #1 sports fan festival.
Heck yeah.
Fanatics Fest. It's almost 1 month away. It's back at the Javits Center in New York City from July 16th through the 19th. This is going to be a great Fanatics Fest with all this. I mean, New York is a sports city, and the fact that this is, a month or so within the range of the NBA Finals, it's going to be on fire this year.
And
it is
during the World Cup.
Oh, World Cup. It's a must-attend event for WWE fans. You'll be able to meet your favorite superstars. You'll be able to enjoy surprise appearances all weekend long. Limited photo and autograph tickets for WWE superstars like Obafemi, Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, and New York's very own Danhausen are still available. Tickets will sell out, so get yours today. Fanatics Fest general admissions and photo opportunity tickets are now on sale at fanaticsfest.com. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a thing on Monday Night Raw tonight that said our tribal chief is going to be there on Fanatics Fest Saturday.
Saw that.
There you go.
You going to be all right?
No. I'm going to be pretty far from okay.
You're going to be walking around the Javits Center acknowledging all day. Ones to the sky.
You're gonna know. You're gonna know that I'm just sitting there. Look, you're gonna see me like my eyes going everywhere. You looking for Roman again? No. Nope. Just let me know if you need anything. Let me know. Why aren't you looking at me straight in the face?
Last year at Fanatics Fest, you made John Cena's life.
I gave him a great moment.
He confirmed that you made his life.
By the way, I watched a video on YouTube. We'll get back to Raw recap in a minute. I watched a video on YouTube.
Oh, was it of a bear getting fed a sandwich? Because you've been watching a lot of those videos lately.
I do. I watch a lot of bear videos. Yes, I did. I did watch a bear sandwich video.
You love a bear sandwich.
I did watch a bear sandwich video. This is a different video. It was a YouTube short, and it was like moments that celebrities meet their fans, and it's like all celebrities meeting like little kids. And I swear.
Don't tell me.
I swear.
Is it
all.
from?
This is why, and I'm getting to this because Fanatics Fest makes moments, okay? It's like Billie Eilish meeting a little kid and like The Rock meeting a little kid and all this stuff. And then I'm watching
My God. Please
and
don't say it.
I go, look, that's John Cena. I go, oh, that looks familiar.
Uh-oh.
And it's John Cena jumping across the table and hugging this little kid who's like a bald 40-year-old with a beard. I'm just sitting there. It's a really weird thing to watch this touching video of children's dreams coming true, and then you see John Cena is hugging you. It's a very odd dichotomy that happens, but that's to say that's the magic of Fanatics Fest.
To all those kids out there, don't give up on your dreams.
Don't give up. Sometimes it takes a while, decades.
A long time.
Decades.
Sometimes you might not be a kid anymore.
You
when
might
it
not.
happens.
Well, it depends on people's definition.
But you can still make John Cena's life.
I
You confirmed it on this show that you made his life.
He said that.
Maybe Roman Reigns can make. Maybe you can make Roman Reigns his life.
You think he'll jump across the table and hug me?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
It's not his vibe?
I really don't think so.
All right, probably especially.
But
after
if
this
anybody can
podcast.
make him, it's probably you.
You're probably right.
It's probably you.
I'm going to try to get Jacob to tell him I'm an honorary Uso so he knows. You know what I mean? Just give him a heads up.
You think that'd be a good look for Jacob to do that right now?
Maybe not right now because he's still establishing himself.
Yeah, timing is everything.
But we got a month.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We got a month before Fanatics
all
Fest.
right.
Hey, speaking of heroes, how'd your hero do tonight in her Queen of the Ring first round fatal four-way?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because I'm not really a stats gal. I'm not like
No.
you analytics nerds over there.
Oh.
Like you?
I love stats.
Big stats guy.
Yeah.
Everybody
Numbers.
knows that about you. But it was actually brought to my attention this week, and I didn't realize this at all. But I was listening to Becky Lynch on Stephanie McMahon's podcast, What's Your Story? Didn't realize this, but since Becky returned at WrestleMania,
Yeah.
did you know that she's won 100% of her matches that Jessica Carr has not been the referee? 100%.
That's
Every
actually-
single one that Jessica Carr has not been involved in, Becky has gotten the W.
Did she really say that? That's actually a hilarious statistic.
So I know
That's big if true.
you over here like to say, oh, Megan's blowing things out of proportion. Oh, it's not Jessica Carr's fault. Oh, it's Becky's fault.
It is.
100% of the time, she
Right.
loses when Jessica Carr is in the ring. And when Jessica Carr is not in the ring, she wins 100% of the time. I think it's more than a coincidence
Maybe Jessica
here.
Carr is the best referee.
No,
And the other referees
that's
are-
not it.
Who's the best referee? Dan Angler, who
because
doesn't know when
she's-
Gunther's feet are on the ropes?
It's because she's crooked, all right?
Oh.
She's crooked. So
How
the
is she
second
crooked
I
tonight?
saw her in the ring, I was like, this poor woman, not only is she the greatest female wrestler of all time, it's not just me saying it, everybody's saying it, Sports Illustrated says it, and the Bleacher Report says it.
Yeah.
But she's also had her Italian vacation ruined, which I hear Michael Cole on commentary saying, oh, some of us have been working. Really? I've been scrolling through Instagram. There's been a lot of people enjoying themselves in Italy, and that's great.
I think Michael Cole's working. He's been working in
I'm
Italy.
fine with people enjoying themselves in Italy, but Becky was robbed of the chance to enjoy herself in Italy.
She posted a thing about lasagna. It didn't even look like lasagna.
She was having a tough time.
It didn't even look
She
like
was
maybe
having a
because it
tough
wasn't
time
lasagna.
in Italy. So anyway, she's in the match tonight, Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah.
Chance to become Queen of the Ring, which she's already the Queen of the Ring in my eyes.
That's not how it works. There's a tournament. It doesn't matter what's
In
in
my
there.
eyes,
Cool.
she is the Queen.
That
of any
and
ring
$9 will get you a cup
that
of coffee.
she walks into. $9 for coffee is kind of a lot.
Oh, well, guess what? Welcome to 2026.
Anyways, as soon as I saw Jessica Carr in the ring, I just threw my notebook in the air. It's like, forget it.
Oh, good. You stopped watching.
No, I didn't
I'm glad-
stop watching. I just was, you know what? My
You decided to stop being an analyst.
day was ruined.
It was? Mm-hmm. Oh.
Ruined
I feel like this is,
by the corruption and the crookedness
Mm-hmm.
of Jessica Carr.
you know about parasocial relationships?
No, never heard of them.
Okay.
Never once. Why? Why? You have something to say about them?
No, I'm not going to sit here and give you a whole lesson. I'm just saying, look, Google it at home if you want.
I don't know. Pop quiz day.
No. I'm just saying, maybe when you get home, Google parasocial relationship and see if maybe that's you and Becky. Could be a good thing. You don't know what it is. It could be a really complimentary.
I think a parasocial relationship is more like you and the bloodline. I
No,
think that's what
actually,
it is.
again,
No, I
apparently
don't
you
know.
don't listen to this podcast because Jacob Fatu said I was honorary ooze. So that's not exactly parasocial. That's social.
I don't know if he has the authority to grant anybody as an honorary.
Of course he does.
Roman does.
He's Jacob Fatu. He's like the guy.
Okay.
You know, there's nothing parasocial.
You think
that's
he
social.
told Roman about it?
I'm pretty sure he must have.
Yeah.
So
Probably like in
well, it's been
passing?
tense between him and Roman. To be fair,
Very.
you've seen it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tribal
So-
combat is as tense as it gets.
Yeah. So I don't know. They've got a lot going on.
Yeah,
right now.
but
I don't wanna get-
100% of the matches,
But I didn't see anything tonight.
there were moments.
In fact, I thought it was just a case of fatal four-way in positioning. You know, Liv Morgan, again, just like Javon Evans, finding her spot, getting in there. Chelsea Green, and I feel like this has happened to Chelsea before. She thinks that this is her moment, and the audience thinks, oh my God, we're going to witness Chelsea Green's moment finally. And she hits that finish, and then boom, here comes Liv Morgan to grab one for herself. And that's a very Liv Morgan thing to do. You can't.
Certainly is.
You know, it goes back to these bear videos. You can't get mad at Liv Morgan for being Liv Morgan. You know what I mean?
Ring awareness.
Right. She's going to take advantage. But yeah, Chelsea put her finish on Becky, by the way. So she may have gotten that pinfall victory over Becky Lynch. We won't. I'm not going to say
We'll
she
never
would've.
know of the cadence of the counting by Jessica Carr.
You think it would have been a fast count?
Probably. Yeah, they were just saying in my ear, all of our production staff, 0-5 when Jessica Carr's in the ring. 0-5. That's nuts.
Is she 0-5? Is that a true statistic?
Yeah.
She's never won with Jessica Carr in the ring?
Not once.
Yo, that's crazy. That is crazy. That
Starting to
actually
think
is-
that Jessica Carr's crooked.
That's kind of a damning statistic, to tell you the truth.
And I'm not typically a stats gal,
No, you're not typically a stats gal.
but in this
you're
situation,
a Lynch gal, but not
I
typically a
have to
stats
be.
gal.
Yeah, I have to be a stats gal.
Because somebody's got to bring that information forward.
Is
She was talking-
alarming.
Isn't Stephanie McMahon's podcast the podcast where people get like deep and really talk about their emotions?
Sure.
And that's what Becky was talking about
well,
on
it
Steph's
is
podcast.
deep. It is emotional.
Yeah. No, I just 'cause
People
I saw,
ruining your vacation, ruining your life, taking your title from you.
Because I remember like Randy's podcast was amazing with
Mm-hmm.
Steph, and he was getting into like, emotions and everything. And Paul Heyman and Steph was incredible because it was like Paul going into his past and his parents and his grandparents. And I mean, it was amazing. And Becky Lynch was complaining about the number of times that Jessica Carr screwed her.
I mean, I don't think she was complaining. She was just pointing it out.
Oh, because she was like, Steph was probably like, "What really bothers you, Becky?" And she was probably, "Yeah, that's a good question. That cuts deep."
Crooked car.
Probably crooked Jessica Carr.
Right. Crooked car.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I'm glad you find this funny.
I do. I find it hilarious. I find it really, really.
I don't think anything about it is funny.
I find it. Think every
It's just
single
us
thing
Becky
about it.
believers have been pointing it out over and over again. Jessica Carr is crooked. Jessica Carr is corrupt. And
It's
you
just
just,
like-
no, you guys don't know. And now
Time-
I bring the stats forward.
Time to let our guard down, break the fourth wall. Becky, Rebecca Quinn, what's really going on? And she goes, Jessica Carr keeps screwing me over. It's great. It's great. I got to listen to the podcast. I can't believe I missed this thing.
Yeah.
A lot of times Becky's voice gets a little grating for me, but
Not me.
I've had it yelled in my ear, to be fair. So, maybe it's triggering. But
Deserved.
I am going to go back and listen to this podcast. Liv Morgan makes the Final Four in the King of the Ring. So next week, we're going to get Raquel Rodriguez versus Io Sky.
It's going to be a good one.
Going to be incredible. And then Liv Morgan faces the winner of Sol Ruca, Lyra Valkyria, Charlotte Flair, and Jade Cargill. What do you make of Roxanne Perez saying flat out, I was maybe I overreacted last week. You were right, blah, blah, blah. It's the Judgment Day. We should all just be happy for each other. And Liv was like, yeah. And then Roxanne saying, I think the best case scenario would be if Raquel beat Io, and then Liv, you beat your opponent, and then you and Raquel were in the finals together. That way, Judgment Day is guaranteed to win.
I think it was very smart, and it goes by what the Judgment Day has really
You don't think
pushed forward.
you don't
as
think
they've
Roxanne
said.
Perez is needling?
No. I
Oh,
think
of course
this is really what everybody in the Judgment Day has been
Yeah.
saying. It's all for one and one for all. Gold in the Judgment Day is gold in the Judgment Day. It doesn't matter who's holding the gold. And wouldn't you
Yeah, but
want
generally
two
the peop-
chances to win instead of one?
Generally, the people who say that are the ones that are holding the gold.
Yeah, Liv didn't seem too happy when Roxanne pointed it out.
Well, she had to move on to Dominic's thing.
Yeah, when Dom walks into the room, he's typically a distraction.
Well, he
He's
does command a certain degree of attention. You
he's
got to give him that.
gorgeous.
It's a bit of a Lothario, that Dominic Mysterio. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been getting annoyed all week long because I feel like every time I get into, and I mean last week because
Okay.
all week long is one day, but it's Monday.
Already.
But
I've
I have
had
been
it with
getting
this
annoyed.
week.
I have been getting annoyed today, but also last week because they go like this. They go all these the fans when I have conversations. They go like that, and then this happens and that happens. I think it'll lead to the breakup of the Judgment Day, and it's like, what is it going to take to get through your skulls that the Judgment Day is forever?
It is forever.
It's forever. Stop with this break up the Judgment Day stuff.
Judgment Day they've been through a lot of eras.
I know, and like they don't get in. They've been through more eras than Taylor Swift, and they don't get any credit for it. They don't get any credit. Taylor got a movie and a tour, and now she's gonna get married at an arena. What does the Judgment Day get for it? Oh, but they're gonna break up soon. That's not cool. I get very upset about it. But again, I think there are very different complications in the Queen of the Ring and the King of the Ring. But there's a lot of meat on this bone for both tournaments.
I'm fascinated by Liv's reaction to her little Roxy bringing forward something that Liv Morgan has preached in this faction.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, I want to talk about Obafemi. The ruler is here. And before we start the conversation about Obafemi, remember that you can rep Obafemi with the newest tees that are available now at WWE Shop and Fanatics. Honestly, Obafemi might have my favorite line of merch right now, and it's a line. A couple shirts, hoodie, the whole thing. The new Oba stuff is super, super cool, but maybe not the absolute coolest thing. Danhausen, he usually hands out curses. This time he took one away. Celebrate a new era with the Danhausen Knicks collab tees. Available now at WWE Shop and Fanatics. This was not sent to me, by the way. I literally went to the NBA store in Midtown Manhattan and saw this Danhausen Knicks shirt on a rack.
You're lucky you got your hands on one.
And picked it up.
Flying off shelves.
It was packed, dude. It was packed, but I had to have it for the finals. This is sports history, this Danhausen Knicks t-shirt. Right now, as at the time of the recording of this podcast, what are we at? 13-0 in the playoffs since Danhausen uncursed the Knicks?
Oh, you're a big Wii guy?
As far as the Knicks go?
Mm-hmm.
The New York Knickerbockers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course I am.
Big Wii guy.
Big Wii guy. Nintendo Wii, New York Knicks Wii, all the Wiis. I love Wii. But you can get your hands on it right now. The Danhausen Knicks collection. Available at WWE Shop and Fanatics. There's even a Danhausen Jalen Brunson shirt. There's so much good stuff. Great things. Available now at WWE Shop and Fanatics. So, Obafemi comes out to start Monday Night Raw.
Oh, by the way,
Tell me.
his entrance where they showed his pose and his shadow
Yes.
on the entire crowd
Looming
in Paris.
over the arena.
So good.
So cool.
Yes.
So I hope that's like a thing going forward.
I didn't think his entrance could get any cooler, and it did.
He's got so much aura. This Obafemi comes out, and they're going crazy for him. He allows them to go crazy for him. Then he kind of calms everybody in Paris down because he's got to get to business, you know. And he talks about, first, like, he talks more than I thought he would about Brock Lesnar. He starts by quoting Paul Heyman.
And saying, him and Paul Heyman don't have much in common.
No.
But what they do is Paul Heyman doesn't believe in predictions. He believes in spoilers.
And what was Obafemi's spoiler?
His spoiler was that
He's winning
the King of the Ring tournament.
You bet. That he's going to wear the crown and win the King of the Ring tournament in his first year on the main roster of WWE. He called Brock Lesnar a B word, which I'm not, in case Brock's listening. I know he loves podcasts. That's not my opinion.
He said the only thing he's seen in the last week is a big, bad B word.
That's it. That was it. That was what he said. And he said to Brock, you can't stay away forever. Now, normally anybody else, I would go, you got to get the past out of your head and look at what's in front of you. But I don't think I'm ever going to tell Obafemi how to do his job.
No.
I think Obafemi's got it under
That's
control.
a good move.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a sound I respected more all night tonight on Monday Night Raw than the sound of Dominic Mysterio's theme music interrupting Obafemi. I mean, look, say what you want about Dominic Mysterio. He's fearless.
Of course.
I mean, there is something about him. There is a confidence that has been instilled in that young man, no thanks to his father.
It's been brewing for 20 years. 20-year vet in this business.
He did point out that Obafemi is a mere rookie and that Dominic Mysterio, in his gas station attendant outfit, stylish gas station attendant, by the way.
The neck tattoo rules.
The neck tattoo. I'll tell you what, if this was a gas station attendant at my local gasateria, that's right.
I would. A gasateria?
Tons of them. I would not allow, I would say I'm going to go get the car filled up. I wouldn't let my wife go get it. Because this is a dangerous gas station attendant. You know what I'm saying? Look at him. He's so cool. He's the man. And you know what he told Obafemi to do? He said, get down on your knee. And you know what he said? Bend the knee and respect the stash. He wanted Obafemi to get down on one knee out of respect for Dominic's facial hair, his mustache that he's grown. Which Obafemi, and this shocked me, chose not to do that. Obafemi decided after everything that he's been through that he will not be kneeling down to pay homage to Dominic Mysterio's mustache.
And I love this Dominic Mysterio. Not only does he come out with fire lines like that and great stylish gas station attendant apparel.
He had the
but
pink Travis Scott's on.
But he also comes out with a plan. And that plan is his pal, JD McDonough, to come up from behind Obafemi and hit him with the chair. The only problem is Obafemi didn't even flinch.
No, he didn't. He didn't move 1 inch. No, as it turns out, this plan was great on paper.
It was as if someone tapped him on the shoulder.
You got to look at this photo. Oba is sitting there, and he's got his nice pants on. He's got a belt on. Mm-hmm. He's got a beautiful shirt tucked into those pants. He's got his jewelry on, his wrists. He's not out there to fight. And he feels a breeze that he realizes is JD McDonough hitting him with the steel chair. And he's almost exasperated. He's like, seriously? You're going to make me do this now?
I didn't come here for this. I'm not dressed for this.
I'm trying to just enjoy a little bit of time with the Parisian crowd. And he turns around, and of course, he takes out JD McDonough. Dominic Mysterio does start to gain a little bit of momentum.
He hits the 619.
It unfortunately does not last, but thank God JD was there to save Dominic Mysterio from what appeared to be a powerbomb coming up. But listen, man, I think that it's been a little while since we saw, just a little while, but a little while since we saw Dominic Mysterio in a really big singles match.
I agree.
And I think people forget that he's got a lot of tricks. He wasn't even wearing sleeves tonight, and he still got tricks up his sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a world? You're looking at this bracket. Yeah, everybody's sitting there going, when Obafemi gives us the spoiler, you kind of believe it, right? But a lot of stuff happens. You can't tell me there's not a world that Dominic Mysterio figures it out, whether it takes a hammer, an Eddie Guerrero stunt, a loose boot, a slicked rope, interference from the outside, a Liv distraction, a Roxanne distraction, some physicality from JD, all of the above. Can you sit there and tell me there's a 0% chance, or is it a greater than 0 chance that Dominic beats Obafemi? Is it greater than 0?
It's greater than 0.
Okay.
It's
Okay, that's all I need.
We're in this thing, baby.
That's all I need. There's a greater than 0 chance that Dominic Mysterio beats Obafemi on Monday Night Raw to advance in the King of the Ring tournament next week.
Greater than 0.
Oh my! That's all I'm going to need to fuel my entire week.
Because what you brought up, Dominic has a lot of tricks. Even when he's not wearing sleeves, he's got those tricks.
Because Dominic Mysterio focuses on one thing: just getting out with his hand raised. However, there's maybe, I don't know that I've ever known, maybe since the late, great Eddie Guerrero, I don't know of any person who has been more laser focused on one simple thing. How do I get out of this ring with the referee holding my hand up and then I'm running?
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, baby.
1,000%. And it's only cheating if you get caught. Okay?
And Dominic doesn't often get caught.
He's really good at not getting caught.
Except for that whole Liv Rhea situation. That was not good.
That's a little sloppy. But all is well that ends well. It all turned out for the best.
Love wins.
Yeah, love is love is love is love is love. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's what's fueling Dominic Mysterio. And that's,
And how great
that's
would it be?
the power. That's the power of love.
How great would it be, Queen Liv and King Dom?
I mean, it would be like prom king times 1,000 million.
And we did see in the Judgment Day Clubhouse, they were working on something. That's why Liv had to go.
Had a plan.
Yeah, they had a plan. And so I imagine this plan had to do with King of the Ring, right?
I mean, can you imagine the level of indecent control that Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio would hold over Monday Night Raw if they were the king and queen of that show?
It'd be so nuts.
If they were the king and queen of the whole roster?
It'd be so nuts.
Oh, they'd be impossible to deal with. JD would be like a duke or something. That would be sick. That's what the Duke JD. Duke McDonough.
That's
got a nice ring.
The royal family. We could have a royal wedding.
We could have oh my God.
A royal wedding.
We could have a royal wedding. Whoa. And we'd have to do it like at 6 o'clock in the morning like they do in the UK. You know what I mean?
Or we could just do it on Raw.
We could do it on Raw. It would be the most huge, gallant affair that's ever took place on Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
That would be massive. Oh, I really hope that's who I want the king and queen to be.
Liv and Dom.
Liv and Dom, very much so. We are on the precipice of something very, very special. We also saw tonight, I do want to give a shout out. After Mask versus Mask, Noche de los Grandes, there were a lot of questions about what's next for Chad Gable. And we see him on SmackDown. And he apologizes to Rey Fenix. And Rey says, I appreciate it. I accept it. There's more to be done. He goes to Monday Night Raw. He apologizes to Penta and even brings forward the fact that the birth of Grande Americano and it's crazy to think that Penta's WWE debut is what started this whole quest. As long ago as that was, it's hard to even kind of imagine the idea that Penta was not in WWE.
And wasn't he talking to Dominic Mysterio?
Of course, Dominic Mysterio slipped him the number of whoever it was. Yes, 100%.
Wow.
Yes, Dominic's involved in some way, shape, or form. But he apologized to Penta and acknowledged and pushed forward the fact that it's all started with Penta. And Penta accepted it, and he said, but I'm not the one to talk to. And then Chad Gable goes and talks to Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio, but they don't even let him start. Don't worry about it, dude. Don't beat yourself up. Rey did push forward the idea that, look, there's other people for you to talk to from even before you were Grande. But now I don't know how far Chad Gable's going to have to go on this apology tour. But I guess if you want to make amends, it's important, right?
But actions do speak louder than words.
That's true. That's true. And then we got to, and I was happy that we got to see these actions, right? Because we see this incredible Intercontinental Championship match. This is what the Intercontinental Championship
classic.
That's right. Is all about. Rey Mysterio versus Penta. Unbelievable. If you didn't watch it tonight, make sure you go back on Netflix and watch that match.
Every time Rey Mysterio is in the ring, make sure you go back and watch because it's just
unreal.
We are privileged to be witnessing this right now in 2026.
The dude is a superhero. So Penta ends up winning after a Mexican destroyer. 1, 2, 3, all good. Here comes Ethan Page. Here comes Rusev. They attack. You know, Dragon Lee tries to help. At first, he's helpful. Can't get it done. Now, Rusev is going to push it a step forward. He's got Rey all locked up. Rey's down. He rips the mask off of Rey Mysterio. Rusev ripping the mask off of Rey Mysterio was not just Rusev ripping the mask off of a luchador. We knew that Rey Mysterio was the guy that Chad Gable had to apologize to. He's the general manager of AAA. Mm-hmm. Like, he's the guy. Rusev ripping that mask off of all masks was probably the biggest thing that he could have done. And here comes Chad Gable to stop the bangaranga, to stop it all. And Chad Gable takes out Rusev, he takes out Ethan Page, and he picks up that mask. And that's the test, right? The luchadors are helping Rey. They've got his head covered with the towel. And Chad Gable gives him the mask back. There it is. And that's the moment, right? That's the moment where it's like, okay, we're good. Here's what I want to see. Here's what I would love to see from Chad Gable. You know, he's making amends. He's doing the right thing by these luchadors. There's a kindness going on. This is a kindness that he did. I'm hoping somebody mistakes his kindness for weakness. This is what I want to see now. I want to see someone test Chad Gable. I want to see someone step to Chad Gable and be like, oh, yeah, now you're apologizing. Now you're this. Now you're a wimp. And Chad Gable will go, okay. And that's when this guy who wrestled for the United States in the Olympics, and you know what it takes to make it to the Olympics as an athlete.
Yeah, as someone...
It's hard.
Yeah, as someone who's training for the Olympic trials.
Right.
Hella hard, bro.
Right. Now imagine you're wrestling people. I wouldn't want to do it.
No chance.
Chad Gable getting tested, and I mean showing the world what he's capable of, is a moment that I cannot wait to see.
I can't wait till we see Chad Gable. This Chad Gable. Chad Gable, you know, coming off of one of the best matches in the history of professional wrestling. Mask versus mask.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for the moment we see Chad Gable wrestle in the ring again.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be next week on Monday Night Raw. Next week, we've got Obafemi versus Dominic Mysterio.
Ooh, less than zero.
We've got less than zero. We got Io Sky versus Raquel Rodriguez. And we will be here to recap all of it on the Raw Recap. Make sure you guys are subscribed across all audio platforms on YouTube. Like, subscribe, leave comments. We'll see you next week here on the Raw Recap.